If you're running A/B tests in 2026, you're part of a pretty exclusive club. Less than 0.2% of all websites even experiment at all. But among the sites that do test, the gap between going through the motions and compounding results is massive. Hi, I'm Kamel, and welcome back to the Convert YouTube channel, where we talk all things CRO and experimentation. Builtwith's technology tracking shows that roughly 2.2 million websites currently use A/B testing or experimentation platforms across tools like Google Optimized Legacy Installs, Convert, Optimizely VWO, etc. With an estimated 1.1 to 1.2 billion active websites globally, this means around 0.2% of websites are running structured experiments. In reality, there is probably a much higher number of them testing, but Builtwith only detects client-side technologies, so large companies running server-side or custom experimentation platforms may not be counted. In the data, it's clear to see that sites with lower traffic volume are focusing less on CRO. As traffic increases, experimentation adoption rises sharply. We've already seen that most companies are not even experimenting, but there's a big difference between those who are just starting to run their tests and those who have baked testing into their company culture. The companies that are heavily focused on CRO and maturing their experimentation programs are usually the market leaders. Before we go further, shout out to the team at Spiro for their fantastic work on their new maturity program reports. Several of the stats that we're going to talk about come from the latest findings, and I highly recommend that you read the full thing. I'll link it in the description below. When we look at the experimentation landscape, A/B testing remains the go-to. It's straightforward, it works, and it doesn't need massive traffic to get a result. Split URL testing has carved out a healthy second place, which makes sense for teams testing larger structural changes, such as entirely different page layouts or flows. Personalization accounts for 4.6% of all experiments, but the teams that do personalization are doing it consistently. It's a natural next step once you've built up a library of winning tests insights. MBT remains niche, likely because the traffic requirements for meaningful multivariate tests are out of reach for most teams. Multi-arm bandit works well in specific scenarios such as short-lived promotions, limited traffic windows, or when you want to minimize opportunity costs during a test. For most teams though, the classic A/B framework remains the workhorse. This likely comes down to familiarity and the fact that most conversion rate optimization education is built around frequent testing. Across experiments run on Convert in 2025, 70% met the industry standard of 95% confidence level, and 49% reached 99% or more. That's a sign of a maturing industry, with teams using Convert letting their tests run long enough to trust the results. So there you have it, a sneak peek into the most interesting, important, and up-to-date stats that we could find on CRO and A/B testing. The data paints a clear picture of where experimentation stands today. The common thread across all of it is that programs that deliver results consistently are the ones with serious infrastructure behind them, prioritization frameworks, executive buy-in, dedicated CRO teams, and a culture of experimentation that acts on what the data says. For the full dataset, including original Convert data on integration patterns, the CRO team and agency ecosystem, and what separates the top 1% of experimentation programs, read 30 A/B testing and CRO stats every optimizer should know in 2026 with original Convert data by Carmen Apostu and Daniel Danes-Hutt on the Convert blog linked in the description below.